What's going on, everyone? So there's a lot of talk about the Lakers potentially trading Austin Reaves. Should they trade Reaves? Should they not trade Reaves? Are they going to trade Reaves? Are they not? Now, I don't think Austin Reaves is untouchable, right? I don't think the Lakers are going to trade him unless it's something that just knocks their socks off, right? I think the Lakers are going to keep him and stick him around. Now, look, I'm sure most, if not all of you are familiar. I'm not somebody that's like, you have to keep Austin Reaves. I don't want to trade Austin Reaves just to trade Austin Reaves. I think Austin Reaves is still a good basketball player. I just don't think he's the superstar, the guy that you're building your franchise around alongside Luka. I personally don't buy that. I think we have seen enough over the last few years to show that, again, he's a great player, blue chip role player, but he's not that superstar that is untouchable, a guy that you're not selling for any means necessary. Right? I think if the right deal comes along, I do think that he should be moved just like anyone else. The only guys that are really untouchable in the Lakers are Luka Doncic and LeBron James, right? And outside of that, I think everyone else should be able to go for the right price. And even untouchables, period, I think there's really only like one or two in the NBA, period, right? I mean, obviously there's outlier circumstances like Steph, like the Warriors would never trade Steph. But if you had the non-bias and you could trade Steph for Victor Wembanyama, you would do that in a heartbeat. So Steph's not. The only guys I think are truly untouchable are guys like Victor Wembanyama, right? But I digress. Point is, with Austin Reaves, is the big question and concern is like, if he ends up not getting traded, one, the Lakers are probably going to have to overpay for him, right? The big conversation is, man, his contract, he's got the best value in the league. And you're right. Given his production, given what he does, right? He had a poor playoff performance, but you also need production in the regular season to get to the playoffs. Now, look, I don't really, like, Austin Reaves could average 150 and 50, and if he gets to the playoffs, if he's pedestrian, then I don't care. I don't necessarily care what you did in the regular. I care about what you do when it matters the most, but you still do need production in the regular season. One of the best things about Austin Reaves is he plays. Right? Best ability is availability. He's a guy that you can count on. With LeBron's age and Luka Doncic and, his injury history and the amount of games that he plays on a regular basis, right? There are questions of like, if you trade Austin Reaves, are you going to be able to stay afloat in those times? Now, hopefully Luka's healthier, LeBron's healthy, and you can kind of alternate those guys, give them time off. If you have a better natural team, I do think you can kind of supplement and offset that. But point is, right? Austin Reaves, great contract. Guy that produces during the regular season, has had some good playoff games. I don't want to sell him too short, but, he has been disappointing recently. And more so, it's just been the inconsistencies. Even last year, the back end of the season, he was excellent, right? I praised him and I talked about it. But earlier in the season, he was very inconsistent. It's kind of all over the place. He'd have great games and he'd have like poor games. But overall, towards the back end, second half of the season was excellent. Was a big part of us getting that 3 seed, right? Beautiful. But he's going to be getting $30+ million. So now you're starting to get to where his contract isn't as valuable anymore. But here's a couple things, right? The big concern is the Lakers losing Austin Reaves. I'm not really worried about them losing Austin Reaves. Is it a possibility? Absolutely, right? But there's not a ton of teams that have the money and salary space to go and pay for Austin Reaves, right? You got like a team that comes to mind immediately would be like the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets are a team that could probably do that. But is he going to want to go to Brooklyn by himself? Like probably not, right? He's probably going to want to go to a place where he can kind of fit in, be competitive. Chances are the Lakers, two things will happen. Either A, the Lakers will give him a new contract and then trade him, or, a year or two into it, whatever, or they'll end up working out a sign and trade, right? Because again, is he going to want to go to a tanking team? Probably not, right? Especially because he's not. If he was like 23, 24, sure, maybe you could look at it like, man, I could go to the Nets. They could build around me. It's been there for 2 years or whatever, and then boom, maybe we can be a playoff team or whatever. But no, by the time that comes, he's going to be 27, going into 28. Like he doesn't have 3 years for you to build around him to figure it out, right? I imagine he's going to want to win. He's going to want to win some championships. He's going to want to compete. So I'm not really worried about the Lakers losing him in the sense, like, I don't think that they're, again, I want to be clear. Obviously, it is a risk. It is a possibility. It is something that can absolutely happen, but I don't think it's something where it's like, I don't think it's panic mode because there's not an abundance of teams that have the salary space to do so. And again, where does Austin Reaves want to go, right? I imagine he's going to want to he's going to have these preferred destinations where if it's not the Lakers, it's going to be one of these other teams. And again, maybe the Lakers can work something out, right? Now, I know some people, okay, well, when LeBron leaves, what ends up happening? But again, like, to me, I look at it as if you build it, they will come, right? When Kobe was going through his, farewell tour and all that, right? I'm old enough to remember the conversation narrative of like, oh, enjoy it while you got it. Lakers are done. They're cooked, right? And don't get me wrong. There was, a couple seasons with Kobe that was just abysmal. And then it was like, 2 seasons after he retires and LeBron comes. And then we get Anthony Davis. And then boom, championship. Right now, the big question was, okay, well, what happens now, right? Anthony Davis, he's getting older, and LeBron, when he retires, is the Lakers cooked? Are they done? Boom, Lakers land Luka Doncic. Say what you want, Lakers always seem to get their guy. And whenever LeBron retires, whenever that is, right, I'm not worried about another star or somebody else coming. Right? I'm not worried about that. And I mean, look at some of these models, you could argue, maybe you don't need multiple stars. Maybe you could get away with Luka and a bunch of just versatile depth. You just get that guy you get multiple guys that can self-create and score and do all this stuff. You might not need that other superstar just based on the new NBA. I mean, again, you look at Indiana, who are their superstars? They don't Tyrese Halliburton is, yes, excellent. He's the face of that team, but where does he rank as far as top players in the league? Right, same thing with Pascal Siakam, who won the, Larry Bird trophy, right? Where does he rank as far as players in the league? Right, you look at OKC, and it's you got SGA, who again, top 2-3 player in the league, maybe top 5 at worst, right? I think this year I'd put him in the top 2 conversation, but again, point is, he's one of the top players. Outside of that, it's where's Chet as far as rankings go for best players in the league? Right, top 30? Right? Okay, same thing with Jalen Williams, right? Where is he in the league? Yes, they're both, ascending, right? But they're not there yet, right? So again, I'm not worried about post-LeBron now that we have Luka. Austin Reaves, however, I don't know. I don't know if you can win alongside Luka and Reaves unless you just have this insane athletic, versatile, defensive type of rotation. I mean, look at the Knicks. Knicks were excellent, and they have OG, who's one of the best 3-and-D guys, if not arguably the best, just prototype 3-and-D guy in the league. Mikal Bridges gives you a lot of the same things. Josh Hart, right? Got all these guys, this athleticism and defense and all this stuff around Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, and they got exposed. Right? Because again, you have 2 non-defensive players that teams can just exploit and attack. Right? So to me, it's if you're going to have Austin Reaves and Luka, you need to have 2 elite level wings that can defend and shoot and do all those things. But then I also think you need that very versatile defensive, just lock things down on the interior type of center that can cover ground. And it's just, that's hard to find. Right? And then on top of that, it's do those 2 mesh as far as are those the 2 guys you build around for the future? I don't think so. Right? But we'll see. Time will tell. But overall, I'm not worried about the Lakers just losing Austin Reaves. It can happen. Again, it's a possibility. I think more likely not, worst case scenario, Lakers will be able to pull off a sign and trade. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. As always, this is a discussion. That being said, if you like this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.